I'm going to show you here how to put KamSnaps in, but for the top button I used a big button again because I think that's just nicer, and I'm using KamSnaps for the placket. You need to put your KamSnaps on where you think they look good, and then you just measure the distance that you had there. Take the rest of the KamSnaps off, make sure that it will all sit in the center of the placket, and just mark your little cross. So now you know where your KamSnaps are going to go. And across again. So that would be 1.5 if your placket is 3 centimeters wide. And then I put them back on, and I decided that actually I thought that the last one was too high over my hem trim, and that it would be way nicer if my KamSnap sat closer to it. So I changed my distance here to 6.5. I started on 6, and this is exactly the same distance as I used for the buttonhole skirt. So I should have just like gone for that, but never mind. So it's a little bit lower, and I think that will look much better. So put those KamSnaps back on once you've marked where they're going to go, just to see if you are liking it, and I think I do. Now you want to pin the waistband together, use the owl and push through all the layers so that we make sure that the two snaps will line up and sit centrally on this placket. And then you remove the owl from the lower layer and you place the cap snap under the placket and push it through. And so the prong will now show, and then you place the socket on top of that prong, and that is the thicker edge. You place the snaps between the top and the bottom dies of your pliers, and then just simply press down and release, and you'll see the prong is then flattened and can hold the snap in place. Next we attach the stud, which is the top part of your KamSnap. You lift out the owl completely and push the cap snap with a prong through from the top. Then you put the stud on top of that. Take your pliers again and press together and release, and that's it basically. Then you do up your KamSnap and move on to the next one, and you repeat it, right? You go all the way through. And you put the flat KamSnap right on there. Prong goes through. Then the socket goes on the top. Has got that thick rim. Take your pliers, move them right over it and just press down. There we go. And you can see that the plastic is flattened. And then we move out the owl all the way. Pop another flat one on there and then put the stud on top. That's the sharp edged one. And put it between your pliers. Press down, and that's it. Do them up. All I have to do now is repeat this all the way to the end, and I've got my KamSnaps inserted, and only at that point I will now insert the top buttonhole. You want to mark exactly from the center of your KamSnap where your buttonhole needs to start, and I warn you now, it's going to be more than 1.5. So if you think, oh, I'm just going to put it in 1.5 because that's what it was on the other one, no. You have got a little stem on your button here, on this type of button, and that little stem needs to be exactly on the center of the KamSnap, just higher up. Okay, so now I do the same again. I put this into the buttonhole foot, but it doesn't really fit into there, it pops out, but I know how long the buttonhole has to be, and I'm going to put my buttonhole in, which is exactly the same as what we did on the other method. And the important thing here is, again, I just pointed out in case you haven't watched the other one, is that you hold down your gathers if you have a sensor on your sewing machine for this buttonhole, because the moment the sensor touches fabric, it will stop running and it's really annoying. You have to unpick and start again. So hold them down and then put your buttonhole in. There we go. It's so brilliant, these electronic machines. That's what they're good for. They take all the difficulty out, but then they give you another difficulty on top of it, doesn't it, with the silly sensor. Okay, so that is that buttonhole done. Of course, you could put a couple of KamSnaps in there as well if you're too scared, but I think it's quite nice like that. I've sewn my button on, and it lies exactly on the front, and that's it. You've made the beautiful Betsy skirt, and I hope you are back soon for another course with Frocks and Frolics.